Our Father's peace to everyone who catches this message. It's time for a party. Today's party, excuse me, it's called Corporate Takeover. I apologize for being late. We're about 20 minutes in on 4 o'clock. We should start around 4 p.m. and go on to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We get together daily, except for Shabbat, to speak on entrepreneurship and service in your community. We have 10 special interest groups that we speak on, and on Sundays we have Q&A sessions. Each day has its own dedication for one of the special interest groups. Today we'll be talking about Nam Dehum, the perspective of organic marketing strategies for Nam Dehum is visionary practices. For those of you who are familiar with SOC curriculum, that's hashtag vision, hashtag purpose, hashtag value. Excuse me. We have one in YouTube world. Shalom Akarak to you. Today we're going to be talking about corporate takeover. What does that mean to a small business? What does that mean to an independent or interdependent artist? There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes where people forget there's two aspects to business. There's the producer, and then there's the consumer. A consumer only knows if something is available in the market if it has been promoted, if it has been made available to where they can purchase it. In organic marketing, your last effort would be to pay a major company to promote your work. That is not to say you would stall out from paying a small business to help you with promoting your services or product. You don't want to pay a large company because the large company is not concerned with your individual identity. In organic marketing, you actually rely on the quality of your product, and then you rely on direct communication. There's what's called business to business, and then there's business to consumer. Most small businesses fall short on complete communication process of business to consumer. We're going to let a little bit of music play before I actually start talking because there are a few things I do want to cover. So we're going to allow for a few people to come in. See some familiar faces. 5 people in YouTube land. Shalom Akati Deborah. I know I keep saying it, and I promise you today I have learned my lesson. 16 people in YouTube land. Awesome, awesome. Shalom Barak to all of you. Peace and blessings. I am not going to hit the button to find out what's going on the other side. Now, I keep saying that, and I'm always tempted at the halfway mark to at least go and check. Something tells me I should keep on trying to do that. We're going to wait. Today, as part of the test, I am not going to touch any of those buttons. I'm just going to do the broadcast and relay the message. Normally, yes, I would love to go back and forth and speak with the commentary. So if you want to make comments, you can find this broadcast on YouTube instead of using TikTok. It's available on TikTok for those who are used to using that platform. However, we need to expand. We need to get away from things that do not promote us. So I'm going to play a little bit of music and then we will get started with today's message. Because yes, it is time for a party. Today's party is called Corporate Takeover. We'll be focusing on Nam De Hum as the special interest group. I promise I'm not touching anybody. I promise. I'm going to take you all back to the early 90s. Yo, I ran into that young lady from Rio last night. Supposed to be on husband's payday. She wanted me to see a brand new diamond link that you see me with on. You know what I'm saying? You know why? Why? If I get the job, I'll work. I'll work. Baby, I'll work. I'll work. I'll work. I'll work. Baby, question in hand is how do I love me? I count the ways when girls don't show me. One by one, you can come and confess me. Undress and molest me, but you can't possess me. Because I love a young lady that's beautiful, but one that's spot for me is more vulnerable. In other words, to make it simple and plain, you gotta have a brain in order to be entertained. But in the case, not because of my lady, I take a beat to beat, don't dribble and crazy. Crispy clean with no caffeine, and a pair of spandex or even tight jeans. Doubling the walks with the Chinese cup, but I'm taking with the weed thing and down to their hearts. And if you step up in a large song like Martin Luther King, I should hold the job done. I'll work. I'll job done. I'll work. Baby, I'll job done. I'll work. I'll job done. I'll work. Some of the ladies make me too quick and settle down without having a lot of hair. Once you take a color, so much fun, but no longer you enjoy the married life. Well, I'll let you know this is a brand new year, so never fear. The big daddy is here. Two things and places your husband wanted, and least certain things he probably just couldn't. Let me stay into your life like a deep in the night. Pick your body all over and squish your tight. Roll all over your hand, give your back a massage. You'll say, oh, like it just like the bars. Smooth the mile out, make you smile, and they shout, hit the lights and give one follow. How to turn it back on, you'll have to sing like cowboy. Please take it away. So when you make calls to another for you, just for your knees and take the side on. They came into your life with what a drill. Cause any husband won't, I'm a neighbor who will. I'll job done. I'll work. I'll job done. I'll work. Baby, I'll job done. I'll work. I'll job done. I'll work. Take it to the bridge. I'll work. I'll work. I'll work. I'll work. I'll work. I'll work.
and get away with this nymphomaniac and up the deep back that's ready to attack. Purpose that I'm a pro and far from a free. Ain't no hair on my chest, but I'm a one-top cookie. Whoever said you had to be 100% masculine in order to be natural. I'd rather be more subtle and smooth and soon. Girl, you won't just move, and I promise that you never forgive me. That was the title to fit me. A champ like Tyson, a captain like Kurt. No, before you ever walk the show, I do work. The K.A.D. is on the J.O.B. an expert. You might get a D.O.N.E. So lights, camera, action, all hell the one that gets the job done. I'll work. I'll job done. I'll work. I'll job done. I'll work. I'll job done. I'll work. Baby, I'll work.
All right. Raise your hand if you know the definition of the word work. Raise your hand if you know the definition of the word hip hop. What if I told you that wasn't hip hop? That was rap. My brother and I, Ben and I have conversations all the time. And most of the time we have opposing thoughts. Now, we're not arguing and we're not debating. However, sometimes he feels like it is because he's always making counterpoints. But no, I don't allow it to become an argument. Arguments are fights. Arguments are battles with words. No, that's not what we're doing. Ben likes to tell me that the definition of hip hop has changed. And I maintain that no, hip hop will always be hip hop and rap is rap. You see, there's this rumor out that the culture doesn't own hip hop anymore. And I disagree. You see, the corporations cannot buy or even sell hip hop because hip hop is not something that is polished and released from a studio with an agenda to ruin a community or a culture. That's exactly opposite of what hip hop is. Now, I told you all there's a rule when you open up your office or whatever your business happens to be and people come in and sit down. You don't want a bunch of baby, baby, baby playing on the airwaves. You don't necessarily need a whole bunch of braggadocio because people that are excellent also know how to be humble. Your excellence gets congratulated when you finish a product and people say, that was great work. Thank you for doing that. So we don't have to have music on the airwaves talking about how great I am, you are, or anybody else is. All praise belongs to our creator. I wanted you to hear the song because that's something that I was listening to back when I was 14, 15, 16. I get the job done. I work. And he wasn't talking about a 9 to 5. He wasn't talking about attempting to save souls either. So keep it in mind. What's the definition of work? What are we really trying to achieve here? Right? Now, there's been another song that I've been itching to share with you all. And I'm going to take the time to go ahead and type it in and search it so that I can play it. And then we'll go ahead and start up this party until we get to the next Salah moment. All right. So one more song and then we'll get started. Sorry, I'm giving you all the view of the side of my neck. Give me just a minute. All right, I think we got something here. Shalom, 3 people in the YouTube room. Shalom Barak to you. Efforts towards something always. Moving forward. No, that's not what I was looking for. I know how to find it though. You know when you type in search and then it tries to preempt what you're typing and mess up what you were doing. That's what just happened. So I know how to get to it without typing. Oh yeah. Number 3 on the list. Let's go.
I want to live for free. You cannot have my money. Take what away, part that I don't have. No money. I want to live for free. I want to live for free. You cannot have my money. My money. The G.O.D. wasn't wearing, was his grid line. Election of the check shot, my biology and clock. Back down my blocks, then they got me for blocks and feet on the water. But now it's clean dirt. When I advertise it, I just think it's spell. They make me for my shirts, clientele on the rise. So another basic dudes. Yeah, since it's here, now I'm learning how it's other spice, final weed, and you. Try to forget down, one skin was fair. Yellow form, 10 pins and a black ball, and tell me, take school. I have some new juice, that I have more, with a statue saying brown red. So I can make it more. Smelly face, many other cheeks. They have more. I want to live, no free, no money. And I have money for free, 'cause I don't have no money. I want to live for free. I should be able to talk to you, take away a shade, with a sharp mind and a mental shade. I will go down my stage, drunk bonds, super long tail, walking visuals, magnetic place, bars. So this that I'm not drinking the chill, you can rest in the yard. You can call me crappy, but you can't try it. Let me say, they want someone's been back to see 2 cities all the same. Steady thinking all these cars, but no bail off. Just jealous. Erase my name and all intelligence with phone calls from jealous. Responsible boys, the boss that are games with start the drunken sailors. South Lights again, like my accurate inside of Ocean Taylor. I'm a 30-man head step child, let you know, won't put your name on. lady on the I want to be for free. I want to sit right now. Don't know. I start over what's to be to that taste the Friday. But I don't get paid. Extra minutes burn with the balance chasing better pay. Almost looks to the house like jobs on the morning. Got me thinking someone good. But I can't bargain. Just keep my phone. Social media or score on the berry. From 9 to 5 to my great side. No insurance, no betting. Population control, city guns for war. And we won't call it blood leg. Doctrines that from the red, so our whole service upset. No country man on the land. So I will be secret yours. Drop the bad thing, got the clear in on like a crackhead. On the ground, all holes. I want to live for free, for free. If not have my money, cause I don't have nobody, don't worry. I want to live for free, yeah. They want to, I want to live for free.
All right. It's time for a party. This is a test of the emergency broadcast system because we're rocking and rolling. Dhruv Maki. Shalom Barak to you. You've walked into a session concerning entrepreneurship and service in your community. Not sure if you're still around or not. Today we're going to be talking about a specific company called Nam Dehum that offers curator services for digital artists. Our special topic for today is corporate takeover. You see, I represent 10 different special interest groups. I represent 10 different forms of entrepreneurship. We take 5 days out of the week to cover one specific special interest group per day. And since there are 10, it's a 2-week cycle. On Sundays, we do question and answer. And then on Saturdays, we take off time for reflection for Shabbat. So when you ask, what is this? It's an open discussion. I do come with actual topics already on my mind. I have something to tell you for the next few moments. We're usually on 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm sure we're close to around 4:45 Eastern Standard Time by now, because we've been going for 25 minutes. As promised, I let the music play, and now we're going to talk. You see, that last song that was playing, that's my song. This guy named, well, his company is called Grizzly Beats. I think that was his. I believe so. Grizzly Beats made the instrumental. I wrote the lyrics. I recorded it, and then I registered it. Made a video and uploaded the video. That's courtesy of Highest Heights Studio. That's another independent label. I know what I was pacing in this room for. Water. If a person wanted their music or whatever their message to be promoted nowadays, they would tell you go find a playlist somewhere and pay someone to put you on a popular playlist. They would tell you to go and find a curator on corporate Amazon, corporate iTunes, corporate YouTube Music, corporate Spotify, corporate Deezer, corporate iHeart, corporate whatever. Find a curator who's willing to put you on the playlist. Namde Hum is actually two musicians and artists who are willing to be curators for other digital media artists. We're not in this to line you up with a bunch of commercial people who may not even reflect the same message as you. We're here to help you actually not only promote yourself, but also grow your market. There's always going to be one underlying theme, and that's choices. Along with choices goes options. Because most people think their options are only what is shown to them. What commercial tells them, oh, I can go do this because they told me with a limited time, as seen on TV, if I pay $10.99, I can have this per month. But there's always options. That's the idea behind this corporate takeover phrase. We went through a global situation 4 or 5 years ago, and we're seeing effects of it now. That global situation shut down a lot of privately owned businesses, small businesses. And in the wake, corporations were actually given funds to take place of the losses that they had. The small businesses couldn't do the same thing. So where those small businesses were, they have been replaced. The slot is filled until more small businesses stand up and claim those places. And they would be ignored unless there is some kind of momentum behind the small businesses. Well, that's not just barbershops and grocery stores and other things in the service industry, although that's the major impact. How many of you remember when the only people who could go back to work were the oh, now I can't remember the word. There was one particular term that they used for those who could come back to work. It was a valued service or something to that effect. You know, it had to be uh, necessary. You know, if you worked at a fast food restaurant, you aren't getting called back in that quickly. Hospital workers and things like that, sanitation workers, they were called in. Very necessary occupations. When people started sliding back into the work field, there wasn't so much of a pickup on those who own their own businesses. Gotta check outside and hearing something. Might have just been a bird, but you still got to be on alert, right? And that's what it looks like. So there's not as many small businesses now as there were. And it's harder because Life expenses have gone up. Overhead costs have gone up because of utilities. Overhead cost has gone up because of real estate. In order to pay your lease, lease goes up every year. It doesn't get cheaper. Be great if it did. The only way to do that is if you buy the commercial property and your mortgage rate stays at a steady rate, but the that mortgage that's on you that decreases. So let me get to the meat and potatoes of this. I showed you a video of some early 90s rap. And then I showed you, thank you, essential workers. That's the word I was looking for. Yes, essential workers. Essential workers could go back, but that didn't mean that mom and pop stores were going to open. The doors remain closed. Please keep that term in mind, essential workers. Okay, we got definition of work, and then there's essential workers. Just keep that in mind because there's the definition that people use for work, and then there's use your talents as your calling to serve other people as your livelihood. Do work. So you got this guy who is jumping around and dancing and talking about he gets the job done because he works. Okay. And then you have a song that I played that I wrote talking about I want to live for free. The reason why I want to live for free is because I don't want to be tied in with what's going on with currency. Currency inflates, deflates, does all kinds of crazy things. It makes it really hard to make sure that you have a place to live, some clothes on your back, some food to eat, and you can actually subsist for the day, for the week, for the month, for the year, for your life. Money is fickle. My hunger will be here. Tomorrow, I will be hungry. My thirst will be here. My need for rest will be here. So why does that have to have a price on it when we know it's going to be there? So that means that there is somebody living off of what is actually our necessities. Corporate takeover. Now, as far as my own personal well being and what I do for my career path, we're about to discuss how corporate takeover is affecting me and how it affects me also affects you. In this discussion, we're going to talk about the fact that the audience is being fleeced because you're not being told that you have choices and options. As a matter of fact, your choices and your options are being swept under the rug. They're being pushed behind the bushes. They're being cast into the shadows so that the highlight can be on the billboard. What's in flashing lights? Let's direct your attention there. Pay no attention to the little figure over here. How often do you go to the store and buy something that's one size fit all? Compared to how many times do you go searching for something that fits your particular desire and taste? And then when you get to the store, you find out they don't have what you're looking for. They have some things that are similar, but they're so generic that it's not what you're looking for. And you wonder, where can I go to get this? You're going to have to step outside of that box store that they told you was your choice because you have options. Most people know of a smaller market or someone who sells different things that they craft from their homes. And so you would go to that person or you would ask someone who knows, hey, how do you contact so and so to get this? We've been going on a grassroots system since before the 60s, and it moves very slow. Bamboo is prehistoric grass. It takes about 3 to 5 years just to get bamboo to sprout. Grass, as we've seen, gets cut quite easily. Bamboo, on the other hand, is sturdy. So even if we wanted to wait 3 to 5 years for a sprout, it's going to take a couple of years for it to develop a real stalk. And then it's still not going to be the actual pole that we're used to seeing, the actual cane of a stem. That takes even more years. And that's just one. Most bamboo is grown in clumps. What's all that got to do with anything? Organic marketing strategies. If you align yourself with like minded individuals, everyone's going to have a sturdy product. It's not going to be the next flashy, trendy thing. It's going to be a sturdy product that takes a while to develop. And once it actually gets going, there's enough of it in multiples. So if we're going to use the grassroots system, we need to improve because we know it takes a while. I asked yesterday, how many times are we going to go through the 400-year cycle? If you wanted to grow some bamboo in a forest, it takes about 400 years. So are we going to go out here and plant some seeds and wait 400 years? Or are we going to start going through and finding where the bamboo has already been growing and utilize it? Who remembers Memorex tapes? Who remembers a television channel called The Box? Who remembers the scenario in the news about LimeWire? I'm going somewhere. I want you all to know. I want you all to see. I want you all to picture this. There was a time when the medium was vinyl records. You could get a 7-inch single with one song on one side and the continuation or another song on the other side. Or you could get an extended long play album. All right. We tracking together. You picking up what I'm putting down. So you've got the extended long play album or you've got the 7-inch single vinyl. You can't replicate that at home. You can't make a vinyl record at home. It takes specific machinery. And then there was the 8-track tape. Well, you can't make an 8-track tape at home with your favorite songs on it. It takes special machinery. But then there was the cassette tape where you could record music from albums that you had, music from the 8-track, music from the radio. You could record all that on your Memorex tape or whatever brand you want to use. I'm just bringing up Memorex because it was a prevalent brand. Now, who remembers people selling cassettes or passing around cassettes to share music? This is before you could get a Walkman that had the earphones. That was up next. Get the Walkman, and then whatever you were listening to, you let somebody else listen to it. Because it did have that going. There was the portable 8-track. And then there was the portable cassette player, which turned into the Walkman. The point is, you could share music wherever you happen to be. It wasn't going back home and thumbing through your record collection or running back to the car to sit down and listen to the 8 track. You could be anywhere. And I think, yeah, they did develop a portable 8 track player at some point. What we're looking at is, let's say you did make some music or you had a recording at the house. You could record that on a cassette and go share it with people. It did not require going to a professional recording booth and paying the expenses. You could make a sound and then go share it with people. It did not require signing an agreement or a contract with someone in order for you to have to go and perform this. You could just record a sound. From the 80s into the 90s, corporate companies were having fits because there were people recording music and messages and exchanging it, and they were not going through record stores. The music wasn't being played on radios through radio stations. No, it was people passing back and forth cassette tapes that they had bought as blanks, or even recording over something else that they decided didn't have the same value as that particular sound. You see, that was the birth of hip hop. Hip hop did not want to be played on the radio. Hip hop did not want to sign with a major company because the major company was going to immediately change the face and the sound and the message. It wouldn't be hip hop anymore. Hip hop came about as a revolution against corporate sound. That's why corporations can't own hip hop. You can't own something that's against you. I don't know anybody out here who says that they want to adopt a cancer and put it in their body. I'm just going to be straight with you. So, no, corporations cannot own hip hop. The music that you hear coming from out of corporate places is not the message of hip hop. It's real easy to find out. Is it positive? Is it productive for the community? Does it actually allow for the artist and everyone who's listening to grow? Is it given a plan for unity, prosperity, education, skill building? Is it talking about entrepreneurship? Is it talking about self accountability? Is it talking about the different standards you're supposed to use to have a righteous life? Because that is what you would hear in a hip hop song. That's what you would hear if you listen to a whole mixtape. Just a whole bunch of inspirational ways to improve your community. That's the power of a Memorex cassette tape. And you have people who are handing those tapes back and forth, sometimes for free. Because, yeah, if you happen to have a Memorex tape too, you can always record and then give me my tape back. And then you have those artists out there who did make their own music at home and they have 10 recordings and they want to sell you a tape. Well, the corporations were having a fit because now that's unaccounted. That's not registered. We have to come with a new medium that everybody wants. CDs. It took a while before you could get a CD that was blank and you could actually burn music and information onto it. But eventually that happened. And then it turned into you can get a thumb drive, or yeah, you can go ahead and download these files. You can pay for the downloads. Well, that went from Memorex to the box, where while you're watching TV, you can pay $1 and your song that has a video assigned to it, well, it's going to play. It's in a lineup. It's like a jukebox, and you phone in your dollar and your song request. And as soon as the other ones that have been keyed up, when they're done, your song comes next. I've sat in many a room and watched the same song get played in a loop, and you can actually see where your song will be next. Mm, thank you for that history. Facts, because that's where we're going with this. That's where we're going with this. On the box, there were times when the corporate labels would pay for the plays. So it didn't matter if you put your dollar in. It didn't matter if you put $10 in because you wanted to hear 10 different songs. You were going to have to wait for 100 plays of whatever artist before it even K's back up or cues back up for what other people in the audience are paying for. And the whole time, the audience didn't know this. Now, it did give you some kind of heads up because, yeah, there was a display on there that even told you that your song is next. It would tell you as soon as you sent your order in. I don't know how it knew your location and all that because this is mid 90s. But apparently, they had a navigation system back then before cell phones were properly in use. This is back when the Altel system was a briefcase. They had satellite phones, and you could use one of these Altel phones, and it was limited and very expensive to use. So the box, the channel, could tell you that this amount of songs had been lined up, and yours was next. It could tell you that. The most recent song applied in against the lineup of all the other people who had put in requests. It's a jukebox. 10 years later, 2005, information released that the whole time you were having to wait was because corporations were already paying in. So Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre's Chronic and Eminem and um, there's Luther Skywalker, whatever, Two Live Crew, all these groups became very famous. I mean, they already had their music and what they were doing, and it was going to be it was going to be released, and it was going to gain profits no matter what. They used the box as a tool, pay for play. There was no way for you to promote an independent individual artist on the box. It had to be someone who was already with a major label. And they didn't promote all of the artists on any of the labels. They promoted exactly what they wanted the people to hear. You had options, but they didn't tell you about your choice. So from cassette tapes to pay for play through the box up to LimeWire, download things sometimes for free and most definitely not at store cost. LimeWire got into a lot of trouble because it wasn't honoring all copyright and royalty collections. There were people uploading uh, remixes and all kinds of things. And so the artists weren't getting paid their dividends. Now, the main issue, even in that, was the large corporations were not getting their direct payback because people were using other options instead of the stores and these places that the larger corporations were using for publishing and playback. Memorex tapes, pay for play TV music on the box, and then a corporate lawsuit against LimeWire because the corporations were losing money. What's that have to do with independent and interdependent artists? Because I'm in the middle of a battle every day. Spent a little time speaking with my brother Cole last night. You see, if you go on Facebook or if you go on Instagram or TikTok, they have your picture for your profile and you can make it an avatar or whatever you want to do. Your picture is there. And they've added where you can put a note there. You can put a quote for the day. And when you put the quote for the day, you can also assign some music in the background. So, not yesterday, but 2 or 3 days prior to that, I'd gone in and for 2 days straight, I put in the notes and then I also assigned either one of his songs or one of my songs because I could type in his name and it would pull up the album for Yahava. So I could assign whichever song I wanted to use. And then the same for my own. If I typed in 3PROJH, it would play or it would show me a list of my songs and I could choose which one I wanted. So I went in yesterday and lo and behold, no, it couldn't find it in the results. Couldn't find my name in the results. Couldn't find Cole Before Diamond in the results. And so I reached out to Cole and said, hey, I need you to do a test for me. And sure enough, he said, well, I'm having some difficulty. I can't find it. I said, okay, thank you. We were doing a perimeter check. We were checking our boundaries. You see, we have fortifications. Our fortifications are Coal Before Diamond Productions. You see, that's another label. Our fortifications are Mafia Soy Publications. Our fortifications are Highest Heights Studio. So when I go back and I check what's going on and how are they treating our fruit and whether or not it is being on display and whether or not it is being recognized and properly credited, I find that there are some larger labels trying to crowd out people who are working independently and interdependently. Here's an interdependent relationship for you. Highest Heights Studio is an umbrella. Mafia Soy Publications actually is the melting pot of the ideas for image development, whether it's pictures or videos. So even though I'm running Highest Heights Studio, I go into the experience that I gained from being with Mafia Soy Publications to publish videos. So I'm going along and I run into an individual named Cole who has a portfolio, great music. And I want to assign some images to go along with the music. So now, as a scout from Highest Heights Studio, I meet a producer named Cole and I say, hey, Cole, I'd like to promote your work with the services from Mafia Soy Publications. Now, we actually have 3 different labels standing up for one project. And since it's in the best interest of the public at large, the audience, we can do our end to make sure that the public hears it and knows about it and where to find it. You can download it and you can hear it over here and you can hear it over there. Now, here's an issue. Even if we go through the efforts to do that and you don't get to hear it because it's being covered up, then it's not the audience's fault. Then it's on me as the sole proprietor of a label to alert you. They're taking away your choices. They are denying you your options because they are telling you you are free to add music, but they're not telling you all of the artists. So there's going to be plenty of times where I'm uploading music on videos that is not coming from the platforms. I request that you please pay attention to the descriptions and the details and what you even see in the videos to find out what the name of the artist is and what the title of the song is. Look in the details to find out where you can go find it. Because no, they are not allowing some things to be played. They don't like how I play with their toys. In order for me to share a 3-minute song with you on TikTok, I have to break down a video 3 times. If it's my original music or original music from anyone I'm working with, I have to give it in 1-minute increments. It will not allow me to share the whole song. That's when I sit back and laugh. That means if you give me 3 sections of a song and there's 80 views on it, that means there's really a total of 240 views to that one song. No, they don't like how I play with their toys. Namde Hum started by 2 artists and musicians, myself and the sound engineer that I went to study with. That was our exchange. You show me some of the things that you do, and in exchange, let's start up this project. Because he didn't teach me how to make music. He didn't teach me how to do the music that he does. He taught me how to improve what I was doing. And I would do the same for the next person. I wouldn't tell them to make music like how I do. The music that I make, it's only for certain ears. It's for eclectic ears. I don't make generic music. Every time it's going to have something in it where it might irritate one person and it's the most soothing thing to the next person. If you know anything about jazz, there's Miles Davis and then there's Sun Ra. I enjoy both. But some people can't tolerate Sun Ra. My music goes like that. In either way, that doesn't mean that I should be mowed over by UMG, Universal Music Group. Here's a for instance. There's a reason why you've seen I shared a video called A Message to FICA, where there's a person sitting in a green Impala and it looks like an Ice Cube video. If you listen to the song, it sounds like an Ice Cube song. If you listen to the delivery, it sounds like Ice Cube's voice. The whole time it isn't, it's me. Because you've never heard Ice Cube talking about he wants to talk to FICA and the CIA and the ATF and the FBI. You've never heard Ice Cube do a song like that. UMG came along and they said, "Well, we're gonna claim this video and this music. This is ours." So, no, you're not. That's mine. Here's the ISRC number where it's registered. Here's the album UPC. Here's the copyright. My label is Highest Heights Studio. I have a publishing company called Sugo Music. No, you're not going to do that. In one of the discussions that I have with Ben on I won't say a daily basis, but on a regular basis, you don't have a label. Really? Okay, well, you go tell that to the people that fill out my royalty reports. You go tell that to the people who are holding on to W 2 and W 4 information for me concerning whatever I will be paid out, when I get paid out, according to what catalog that I'm sitting on and the portfolio that I have. You go tell that to the people who are sending me printouts. I know it's real. Not only did I initiate it, but I'm seeing the receipts. Doesn't matter if it's a penny, a dime, a quarter, a dollar. I'm seeing the receipts. I'm seeing the residuals. That makes it real, not something I'm making up. I'm not daydreaming what I get. I would say that's a legitimate label. I don't have to have the numbers that Sony has because I'm sure they do have people in their portfolio that have similar numbers to me. And that's because they're too busy casting a shadow over people instead of allowing people to actually release their message. That's the reason why today the party is called Corporate Takeover. I reached out to my brother Cole and said, I need you to check these out. I want to make sure it's not just something that's happening with me. So, like I said, he checked. He said, yeah, it's not working for me either. I said, okay, I want you to think about something. We were empowered when we were delivering our product through Memorex tapes. I was talking with Ben and I gave him the list of the three: Memorex, the Box Channel, LimeWire. And he says, what about Pirate Bay? I said, well, yeah, that's torrents and turrents and things like that. That gets into video and images. I wanted to start with the main objective because when hip hop started, we weren't exchanging VCR tapes. That was not the medium. You could throw 20 cassette tapes in your backpack because you could go down to the store and get 20 cassette tapes for $5. You couldn't do that with VCR tapes. So no, that was not where I was trying to go with this. You see, not everybody knows the same plan, form, and function as what you have in your head because they weren't there, right? I love my brother Ben. Ben's younger than me. Ben did not experience the form of hip hop that I experienced. I was there in the inner city. Ben was born and raised 600 miles south of there. He went to see it when he was visiting every now and then. But no, he wasn't visiting even the same areas and the regions where you could experience such things. He asked me all the time, well, then you give me an example of performers who were hip hop. That list doesn't even exist anymore. That wasn't Big Daddy Kane. That wasn't Kool Herc. It was people you've never heard of. People who were actually just street corner teachers. People who were poets who would show up to a block party somewhere and get recorded while they were reciting poetry over whatever the live DJ was playing at the time. There were no studio setup recordings. It wasn't something that you could go and buy at the store next week. You all getting juiced up over hearing about Fat Joe doing a recording at a studio. Fat Joe is rap. That's not hip hop. You're getting juiced up about something when you shouldn't be. Like you said, Akati Deborah, there were some actual artists who started up their own record labels and they were smothered, not just by business, but physically, violently forced out. And that's something we're facing today. If the audience doesn't get involved, the independent or interdependent artists will not flourish because they're being choked out, suffocated, and smothered. What's that got to do with the average, ordinary, everyday person? That also means that you won't have access to be able to release a script that's 1 minute long describing what your service and your product is. No, you're going to end up having to pay $10 for 1,000 views of some people that don't even want to look at you. And they're going to go on about their business, which means you got to pay another $10 to try it again. The option to that is to do things on an organic level and actually start participating in only supporting those who support you. That doesn't mean, oh, I'm just going to support those who give me some money. No, it means if somebody is making a product that benefits the community, you need to be looking for that. That's what you need to be typing in your search engine. That also means that whoever that person is that provides that service, they need to have their information registered. I've dedicated 2 hours of my day every day just so I can come in front of everybody and tell you all that. And if you have any questions about it, please contact me. For those of you who tune in on TikTok, there's a special treat for you. For the last year, all you had to do was go to my profile. There's a tab on there that says phone, direct message through text, or call. If I don't know your number, then I'm not going to respond. However, if you identify yourself, we can pick up on some communication. Because yes, I am a businessman. My profiles are for business. Because I understand every time I post something, I'm either going to start drawing a profit on it, or there's just going to be a third party that's drawing a profit the whole time. I'm here to let you know that that's what's going on all day. I've seen the posts where people put up, oh, well, I'm posting this on Facebook to declare that they can't use my pictures, blah, blah, blah. Yes, they can. They can use your pictures because that's part of the agreement for you to have a profile. Now, it's up to you to actually claim rights and ownership. Then when they use it, they have to pay you. Otherwise, they're just using your pictures for free. And all you can do is complain. So what about Pirate Bay? Yeah, you could download audio, but you could also download movies and all that kind of stuff. And that should really stick out to you because that means if you have a 1 minute video out there explaining what your service and your product is, there's somebody that can download it without you even knowing. Or they could do a screen recording and then go use it however they want. Once again, that's why you need to register your intellectual property. Because if people do not start moving on self accountability and claiming what's actually theirs, it will be claimed by outside parties. It's kind of like the lost and found. If nobody comes to visit that box and get what's supposed to be theirs, it's going to go and be donated to somebody else who says, I need it. It doesn't just sit there waiting and waiting and waiting. No, it gets moved. I'm not waiting for the royalty count to come up to where I can actually get paid. I'm waiting to get the actual correct numbers of the count because it's not on my publishing company. I'm not saying they're the ones making the mistake. I'm saying there's platforms out here who are allowing larger companies to take the counts of the views of registered artists. And it's going to take the audience to get active to do something about it. When you don't see your favorite artist listed as music, you need to actively find a way to get to your favorite artist's music. When you don't see someone who offers a product or a service that's actually beneficial to your community, when you don't see it, you need to go find it. And when you find it, you need to post some information about it so that other people will know. You can't expect them to actually send you some information that's going to be really beneficial to you. No, they want you to buy the first thing that you see. As a matter of fact, they're going to put 20% off on it just so you'll get it. Pirate Bay, uTorrent, and places like that, they're the counter to, hey, I know this particular artist. If I contact this person, they can send me something I can download through my email. Now, you might not know directly the director, Spielberg. So you can't just contact him and say, I want to download your most current movie. However, you know some people who have been diligently working, posting content, and you're seeing it for free all the time on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You ever stop to think maybe you need to contact them and find out, hey, can I buy a series from you? Hey, can I hire you to do a series for me? Can you give me some insight on how it is you're doing what you're doing? You ever stop to think maybe you need to contact these folks? It's not just, okay, well, I'm going to go and share your contact to somebody else in their DM. Contact the person who's the content creator. Give them some ideas. I won't lie to you. Yeah, I'm on here and I tell you that there's 10 special interest groups and we can talk about whatever their focus is going to be. That is not what becomes the content of the day. Today's content came because of a conversation I had last night with a fellow producer. Yesterday's conversation came because I was speaking with a member of our assembly, a sister of ours. Gave me enlightenment on, yeah, this is something that we need to focus on. So yes, the elephant in the room is the fact that corporations are trying to elbow out small businesses. And unless you do something about it, unless you do start making proactive choices that do not involve convenience through yet another corporation, then that's exactly what's going to happen. Corporations will move small businesses out of the system. So knowing that ahead of time, I don't wake up every day trying to fight to be in the system. My battle is the system is going to recognize me while I operate outside of it. It needs me, and I'm registered in it. So every time that it uses anything that is from me, any fruit from me, it has to report to me about it. I mean, you are waking up every day going and reporting to some factor of the system. How often does the system report back to you? I'm not worried about politics. I'm not worried about who's in the pulpit. I'm worried about who's willing to go across the street with me, start working on this house so the family can move in. Who's ready to go next door to that house, dig up the yard, and plant a garden, and then do the process over and over again, up and down the block? Who's ready to invest in residential spaces and improve them so people can move in? Our Kahalet today was talking about how Amazon gives you a place to work and then they give you a place to live. Amazon communities. Your occupation is what you do for your work and also where you reside. Where you are occupying a location. You occupy a space while you are at work. You occupy a space while you are refreshing yourself and getting rest and moving amongst wherever you have your things that are stored. Your livelihood and your residence is your occupation. Now, that's mighty funny that a corporation can think ahead of you and make sure that they cover your occupation. Selah. And I said we were going to hold off music until the next Selah moment. I think that's a Selah moment. Now I got to figure out what we're going to listen to, though. We are at the hour and 17-minute mark. We started 20 minutes late. So we're actually about an hour and a half, a little over that, which means we're 30 minutes away from the top of the hour. Any questions, comments, and concerns? Now's a great time to place them. And yes, I will hold on to my promise. I will not push the buttons. I want to. But no, I'm not going to push the buttons. For those of you tuning in to TikTok, like I said, you have access to my handy dandy phone number. And you also have access to YouTube. Jump out of TikTok. Go over to YouTube. Subscribe to Angelic Discipline. Because these lives are on daily, except for Shabbat. And the live links are actually saved on YouTube. You can go back and visit anytime you want. Because we're rocking and rolling. We're on the boat. See, we're rocking and rolling. We've been rocking and rolling since before the electric guitar. We were rocking and rolling before that boat that nobody wants to talk about. Because we were already rocking and rolling on boats, traveling, visiting, and casting nets. I know what I want to hear. I don't have a seat. Yep. I know what I want to hear. I'm up in Atlanta, man. This song. Can't keep a real man down. You can't keep a real man down. Down the street from Decatur like 5 miles. I get around and speak future truth like 8 miles. Cruising through the Camino, taxi or an Uber. Come on, feet hit the concrete. No stopping me cause I won't stall. Makes a lot and prostrate. Don't read the final call. Veronica Yacht is how I've been speaking guitar. Dropping broccoli, consuming down to the stalk. I should shame on this had committing haram. Light up a black smile, spoke a lady for a white, but she don't want another child. Shahada my drink style, coming out, cause I'll be here for a while. And train stations passing through turnstiles, busting through the gates, I cannot wait. On the path of never wild, gotta keep up running down. Gotta keep up running down. In the parking
with some bikes. Asphalt pavement, I'm impatient. Speeding through yellow lines. Can follow rules like in school. Scared to do what I try. Mystery shopper, sporting copper. No one telling me, hurry up and buy it. Stay on the path and don't chase cash. With a loud, there's no lie. I'm not corrupted like these suckers. Candy rappers should die. Get on the beat and it ain't sweet. Worse than fresh when doves cry. Bought a gym that wasn't glass with some class. Silver band with some more stones inside. Never ratchet, keep good habits. Was enough for pride. Thought process, I must confess. That's smothered my pride. Park my truck like what? I ain't stuck. Catch up bus on purpose full of pride. You can't keep a real man down. You can't keep a real man down. Breeze through the scene like a flash. Overdose on caffeine. Blew up my HTC with too much THC. My favorite color green. No sugar, no cream. But water is all I need. Hurricane syrup, sandbag. But caramel chocolate dreams. My brilliance might blind you. I absorb solar energy. Black teeth with silver hair and crimson is aspire to blend me. So proprietor of an umbrella, risk and chance, commuted in chest. While you advance to go, mortgage monopolies. Like Solomon with the ants, I open up my hands and the first my high to come back to me. You can't keep a real man down. You can't keep a real man down. Almost a screens coordinating with mushrooms and melting visions. You fall for scripts, scores, rapid food, and prescriptions. Now I told you can't touch this. You should be quiet and listen up. Cover up and shouting, popping, kicking, and striking won't make me change my decision. With your mind displacement, you need LASIK to clarify what you see and confuse the minds. Thinking of our women are the only judge for living large and rearing our children. Too much of violence from the challenge, bad ethics like Lord, and fathers missing. Too many mistaken in the population. But most real men are either dead or in prison. Recipients. Moving man, moving man, moving man, moving man. Can't keep a real man down.
All right. Thank you to everyone who's been hanging out and spending time. Could have been anywhere in the world. You decided to be here. Thank you. Tada. Shalom Aparak to you. Peace and blessings. Let's see here. We're at the minute and 24. We got about 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Today we've been discussing concepts about how there's a corporate takeover. We've been discussing what would be the perspective of an independent or interdependent digital artist. What are the preparations that one would take when considering survival? You see, there are influencers out here already that advise musicians. We can't be out here just trying to sell our music anymore. We have to sell a service. We have to promote our merchandise and establish a brand. Wear your shirt so somebody else will buy your shirt. Wear your hat. I'm not a commodity. You are not a commodity. We are not a niche. I'm not going to wear a Mafia Soy shirt and tell you, hey, buy this Mafia Soy shirt. Matter of fact, I am not wearing a Mafia Soy shirt. Not that I wouldn't. I'm not going to be a walking billboard to that respect. As a matter of fact, I know a Wu-Tang song that I want to play when we close out. There's a part of Wu-Tang. One of the groups is called the Wu-Tang Disciples. There's the Killer Bees, Sons of Man, and the Kill Army. I like the Sons of Man. When they do their lyrics, that's when you get to hear some Paleo Hebrew in lyrics. It's when you get to hear some Arabic. There's a lot of worldly stuff in there too. But you get to hear someone apply what they're going through compared to what they had to ingest from scriptures. You see, I like Sons of Man because they come from New York. They were born there. And they can tell you what it was like to live there. They weren't somebody in another city somewhere trying to emulate a sound and repeat someone else's struggle. There are some generalized struggles that we all go through. And like I said yesterday, if we're going to do anything, we need to be listing what struggles we have in common, because those are the elephants in the room. And then we need to outline the plans of getting rid of the elephants in the room, and not just working up plans. Outline them, because that means that the next step is activate them. And that's not a 3-week process. That's not a 3-day process. That's less than 3 hours. Identify, plan, activate. 3 minutes. How long does it take for me to do my improv challenge? 5 to 10 minutes for me to make the beat, another hour for me to come up with some pictures and a video, another hour for me to share it all around the world. In less than 3 hours, I've touched the globe. Do work. I've been inspired by people who call themselves soldiers and servants, and they're about it. I've seen people who are 80 and 90 years old and get out and move around better than a 20-year-old, a 40-year-old, or a 50-year-old. Get the job done, then go back and sit down and sip some tea. That's who I was trained by. It was people like that. They weren't scratching their head talking about, I don't know. They wasn't scratching their head talking about it ain't gonna work. Somebody said an idea, and then 4 people jumped up and 5 people put it together. That's where I come from. That's what I'm used to seeing. Anything else is not acceptable. Doesn't mean I'm gonna get up and leave. It means, well, I guess I need to be an example then. Because if I get up and leave, it means that that example might not be there no more. So yeah, here am I. And inshallah, I'm gonna be here until I'm told to go somewhere else. Here am I. One of the best medicines in the world that you could possibly take for your overall health is black seed oil. And then you come to find out black seed comes from a pepper plant. And most people, in order for them to be able to stomach it, well, it's not about stomaching it, it's about getting it past the taste buds. Most people have to take some honey to go with it. Now, here's a funny thing about that combination. Black seed and black seed oil is it's a natural benefactor for restoration to all of your cells. It is a natural anti-inflammatory. So what is honey? Honey is a natural immune booster and a natural non-inflammatory or anti-inflammatory. So you got the combination of two things that are going to look out for your whole body system. It's going to restore it and it's going to keep you immune. Most people can't just stand the taste of black seed honey or black seed oil. So you mix a teaspoon of the oil with a teaspoon of honey, and you wind up doing something that does your system great. It is a tabah combination. It is a lawful combination. It's the one that will actually make your body feel great. Better than any supplement, because a supplement is just that, to replace an element. All right, so, oh yeah, Sons of Man. We're going to close out on Sons of Man. Looks like it's about 5-10 minutes till the top of the hour. So yeah, where's the remote? You're a shining star. Now, of course, this does involve me having to go back and type in some stuff, but it shouldn't take as long because it's in my search history. Gotta love that. Modern conveniences, woohoo. Oh yeah.
You think you got it all set up.
That's not the one. No, that's not the song. That's them though. There it is. All right, we're gonna close out on this one.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? This is what you call, this is rewrite history right here. I'm saying the fifth element, earth, wind, fire, sons of man. You know what I'm saying? Got the Wu-Tang in the house. You know what I'm saying? ODB, the Wyclef, play the guitar, man. Earth is possibly covered underwater, possibly 3/4 of the surface. The sun and moon had to track the power while it's on its way around the sun. I'm the Eddie Kane of the Wu-Tang. Old sides with the fire extinguish the slang. Maintain this paradise on this earth. With the shut the fuck up, stop for what the shit is worth. Watch a nigga that's a first. Superhero niggas hot. Wonder, get away and y'all entrepreneur with the shots to the dark allure. The black sire, smack fire out of the liar. My heart desire. Speak truth and like it's fire. The clever writer, live wire. Never retire. A child teacher, loudspeaker. Earth shaker, the rain blower. To the seas, I'm like Noah. Shining star. No matter who you are,
Shining bright to see what you truly be.
you're shining star. No matter who you are, shining bright to see what you truly be. And yo, this masterpiece be exclusive and fascinating. Street knowledge education, TCC, son, no procrastinating, ghetto learning, graduating. Blessed be the ones with patience from the ancient. God bless the child that can hold his own. Little shorties don't trust the soul, so a glow control. Earth, when the fire, such a man and wife left. We connect like we now next to bring the intellect. We teach both sex, Brooklyn to Tibet. Male and female who follow footsteps and correct. I'm a shining star, beam of light from out far. It's like these with wormholes to a reservoir. Espionage, that if we know we take charge. Come on, we underground like King Buzz. Keep it bizarre, mainstream for the young team. Though if it don't, people clear up to 13. You're a shining star, no matter who you are. Shine bright to see what you can truly be. Escape from the ghetto, using the base simple with trouble. When this week's carry heavy metal. Forward the devil, yo, son, life is reality. Reality is life. People live in strife, the world over strikes. The girls living right in the back. Too many lacks, black on black crime, no rest. Another victim later rest. A long time to be certain. Son to man, my IDs are all searching. The heat is perfect. Earth, wind, and fire burning. Sensation, yearning and learning. Situation. Rock, put platinum hit. Beach nation is what you like to truly be. Anticipation. Shine star.
No matter who you are, shining bright to see what you can truly be.
Yo. When I was young, I saw how to produce. The science of babies getting loose. I turned white boys to spring state spruce. Black spruce to the Chinese. I gave Bruce. I can't help it if my fat was foggy. Most the boogie hit your high on my fatty. Yo, we won't come to see the movie. Girls, walking on my dirt. A hole in the air. I think you like playing call. All my shining stars from here to LA to Mars. Growing up in the ghetto, times it's hard. No matter who you are, you're a child of God. Born as a king, not a slave for charge. It's much more than life than a drink and bars. Large bank accounts in these fancy cars. Little king touch, they scheme, and when they lust, they get handcuffed, the palm and ring cuts.
No matter who you are, shining bright to see what you can truly be.
Shine star, no matter who you are, shine bright to see
What you can truly be.
You're a shining star,
No matter who you are, shining bright to see what you can truly be.
you're a shining star,
What your life can truly be.
what
What your life can truly be. Hey, we're gonna squeeze one more in there. One more. Let's see if I can find a good one though. Looking at some Killer B stuff. So many. I'm gonna have to go on and play this one. We're going out on this one.
You think you got it all settled. You think you got the perfect plan. You think you got it all settled. You think you got the perfect plan.
We breaking plans up, sons of men, what? Throw your hands up, stand up soldierly, keep enemies close to me. The president shook the coat to me, the same one that tore hope on me. Pick on dead brains like the roaches be, feel like construction, bring plan destruction, malfunction your internet with internet. There's doors in the sons of mansion, you ain't enter yet. We'll be trapped you like Solomon's temple. Or you trying to steal a jewel out my mental. Essential, devils drive your soul like a rental. And hell, what we've been through since we stopped speaking Hebrew. We got raw, sucked up and needle. Be careful, they need you. They plan to delete you. I see soon to lead you. It's good versus evil.
You think you got it all
set up.
You think you got the perfect plan.
You think you got it all settled.
You think you got the
Come on, God. Take it to the bridge.
Angala Black Power to destroy the real McCoy off the roof. Oh yeah.
100 proof my plan. Sunshine is locked up, oh yeah. Chase a man with vodka, oh yeah. Something man could stop us a plan. To the perfect one flop us, my man. Every and you.
Oh yeah. Down by the river.
Oh yeah. Without guns and trinkets, ooh man. Some plan is perfect, oh yeah. Think what I know in the
9 grand.
to the 8 to the 9 to the 2 G's. Never plan to fail.
Never failed to plan.
So,
You think you got it all set up. You think you've got the perfect plan. You think you've got it all set up. You think you've got the perfect plan.
Sleeping on purses, we used to wear turbans. Daughters with virgins, gold slippers. Now they go with strippers. Can't hold a liquor, they fighting bitter. Gossip throughout the project, no object, jobless. Digging out garbage, no welfare with no health care. The pain fell here, they deceive TVs. Turned it into a species, won't be the sea. Government raised rent, birth control pills, we hold meals. The black man and the black woman can't get along. The wicked ladies on the 2 horns. Take it back to the Apple Jacks hat. 20 shackle black. We was above things, we was struggling. That was drug things. Shoot dope in our bloodstream. The love thing, the love dream. When they beat us on, coming up to me with 3 balls, trying to get the free balls. But you know, free stores, and now it's just a free course. Keep your knees raw. I can see fork come. Thought when I was young, by the older, brush it off my shoulders.
You think you got it all set up.
You think you got the perfect plan. You think you've got it all set up. You think you've got the perfect plan.
This plan ain't written, we be living in wisdom flow ocean, lead too deep to swimming in. Women look Kim in it instead of being militant and feminine. You guilty and innocent. Rap black as a nationalist. Niggas kill you with no fashion. Claiming profits that ain't real with their topics. Claiming worldly knowledge. You get toast like the Thomas is. And it's a promise, kid. Your English will get buffing based on
Sons of man.
Triply front though. So why y'all still stealing from the Sons of Man independent? Bro, information must be leaking out my faucet. True, out the floor. And still ain't nothing new. And the sun's whipping, even as it was written. As it was written.
All set up. This off the album, The Last Shall Be First.
Never thought the alien would eventually lay class hand in hand. Teach the black man, woman, and child. Juveniles, by before dedicated to reconcile. Young peace and liberated, some deceased and separated, non-educated, rated outdated, then elevated with wisdom precision. Islam, my definition. The coalition makes solid brolic, rock precision. Snakes, listen to fiction. Out of jurisdiction, too late to listen. I'm much firm in competition.
You think you got it all set up. You think you've got the perfect plan.
I'm your father,
I'm your daddy, I'm your brother, Asiatic.
I'm your doctor.
When you bleed from that wall, teach your seed
What they need is true knowledge from the tree.
to be free. I'm your
You think you got it all.
I want to take a moment to give thanks to our Father, Yahweh Elohim, Hashem Ravak HaKadesh, Hashem Yahshua HaMashiach. We give thanks for all sustenance, strength, mercy, and guidance. We give thanks because we are pardoned when we make mistakes and we fall short. So we give thanks for the opportunity for us to take time to reflect and know that we need to give the same mercy towards others when we feel slighted. However, that also means that we have to stand upright and be an example on the divine path. We thank our Heavenly Father for giving us this opportunity to live. We come from our Father, we shall return to our Father, and may our Father be pleased when we return. Amen. Appreciate everyone for hanging out, for coming through, spending time at the party. Look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow. Inshallah, we'll meet up again, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Yahava, Ahava, Ahava, Ahava. Yahava is love. Love is love, and that is complete compassion. Ametaba, Ametoho. Father's peace to all of you. Shalamat Barak. Assalamu alaikum.